I work for LASEPA and I'm an advocate of the environment. Looking forward to be an advocate for the SDS. And I'm here to talk about environmental waste management and national policy. I need to know if I'm granted to share my screen.
Yes, please, you can share your
so that we can have the same stress.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Can everybody see my screen now?
No, not yet.
Okay. So e-waste, the way it gets to us, let's get down to the fundamentals. We don't produce this equipment and this electronic equipment. It's not being made by us. If everybody will agree with me, it either come from us through manufacturing industry across the West, China, most of especially China. That is where every part of the world produce from because of the cost of production. And so I want us to see it as an imported threat to Africa. Do everybody agree with this? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Please go on.
So can you now get my screen?
Not yet.
No, we can't see your screen
Not
yet.
Yeah, good evening. I'm trying to link up this. Just give me a minute so that we have a seamless period of discussion. So the way it gets to us is because there are some capturing this. So give me a few minutes. Allow. So can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, so the way it gets to us is we don't manufacture electronic waste. Then what e-waste is in a nutshell is there are these electric equipment that are out of life, like this is the end of life. They don't have any use. That's why they turn to waste. Where it's come from, mostly imported ones, like the used electronic waste in the West, or let's say Europe generally, because I don't have a record of Africa producing gadgets and electronic equipment. It's always made from China or either from the West. So if you are talking about e-waste management, we have to talk about the source apportionment. Where does it come from? And I will tell you sincerely, it's majorly from importation. But what are the key stakeholders when it comes to electronic waste? The stakeholders involved are the federal government, that's our own government, the state and local government, NGOs, the media, and business association. The way it reached to business association or offices is because these are basic things. Even individuals, some of us have more than one cell phone. In a house, like in my own house, I have a printer, I have a mini office. Let me just put it like that. Like I have a mini office that I use for my personal operation and to just make sure I have my official fillings, even if I'm not in the office. So those are what is necessary. Those are the key stakeholders that we have to put into consideration. How does it get to us? We have our borders, our port authorities. We all know what this is, but there are some vital components about electronic waste in which are not meant to be into the atmosphere. And this get there because of our improper handling of the electronic waste. Let me give you an example. I live somewhere around the slum in Oshodi called Mafoluku, precisely Mafoluku. You might think these abokis that go around eating the metals, telling you that they want you to sell some ions to them. They have their own business, they have their own economics around it. But are they handling this our end of life equipment properly? Are they doing it environmentally? Some of them just want to break down the equipment, like let's say a printer or even some generating power stations like our generators. Once it gets spoiled, they just want to extract metals. What do they do with the other components? If they burn it or they end up in our landfill, we call it unethical disposals. How does it affect us? The bonus, because most of this equipment contains cadmium, lead, mercury, to mention a few of these. We have ions, even some precious metals like silver, lead. They are part of what they do to make these our electronical boards. They might be in minute or trace elements, but the moment we dispose them unethically or illegally, we have the effect of emissions of let me say, some GHG gas, that's greenhouse gases, which involve, in fact, there's limit to CO2 perspective when it comes to electronical waste. The mercury and the cadmium, those are vital elements that are not meant to be into the atmosphere, because you see that it contaminates the underground water or the air if they burn it. But let me cut it short so that for every other person to have a viable discussion. What are the challenges that we are facing? The National Waste Electronic Equipment Collection is not organized. In most situations, there are no collection centers around users. Then I want you to attest to this. Me and you, when you check your area in like 100 meters or even let's say a kilometers, there are no basic collection areas where government or private institution or NGOs or even retailers or distributors, like the setup for seamless pickups or collection of end of life equipment. Like you bought a printer over the 5 years and it's not really serving you anymore, because even by the time it gets to you as the end user, it's already a used equipment. Majority, let me say, we don't have the exact figure or data in Africa, but majority of our equipment, let's say from televisions and printers and cell phones, is that you say you buy a UK used phone, oh, I can't afford the brand new, let me get the UK used one. Because some even call it Belgium. It's all revolve around the UEE, that's the used electrical equipment. That's how it get to us. So we don't have collection areas close to us, and there are high number of used electronic equipment and waste piled up in offices and homes. Even I'm guilty of this, though I don't dispose illegally, but this cell phone I'm using to talk to you guys, I won't lie to you, I have some that I've used, it's in my locker. Sometimes it might be screen issues, sometimes it might be mouthpiece issue, to mention a few about the faults that this equipment might have. Instead of us just throwing it away on the atmosphere or just piling it up and keeping it somewhere, I feel this is where collectors and collaborations with government should come up. Then let me go up to Lagos. Like every other state in the country, we are piling up this waste pending the establishment of modern collection and recycling hub. Yeah, good evening. Sincerely, in this Lagos, we have two facilities that are really working up to ethical means of disposal and management of electronic waste. We have Itera that I will be talking about lately in my conversation, and we have Inkley. Inkley Recycling is owned by HP. Those are the two basic, globally known and efficiently and eco-friendly operating e-waste recycling facility, which are guaranteed and monitored by regulatory authorities like NESRI and LASEPA. LASEPA, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, is the regulatory body saddled with the responsibility to make sure we mitigate and regulate all environmental affairs in Lagos State. And NESTRA deals with the federal government aspect of it, I mean the national body. So the challenges of it is, one of it again is the polluter pay principle is not enforced on manufacturers and importers of the used electric equipment. And that is a major challenge that we are facing, because most of these challenges that we face is because we have laws and policies that are not being properly implemented and monitored. We have open borders and we have responsibility by the custom authority and Nigerian Port Authority to make sure that we don't get to be a dumping ground for technologies that are outdated in the West. Then another one is current treatment and recycling are being done through crude process in informal sector in which workers does not have adequate knowledge of the environmental and health effect of improper waste equipment disposals or handling. This coming in the sense that most of the collectors, don't let me even say collectors, the main scrap pickup, people like we call them aboki, they sound like aboki, but these are guys that are being paid for going around the slum, the ghettos, and the local communities to pick up the waste. Like you see that, okay, there's a printer, there's a phone, or maybe old generators in your house, you don't know where to throw them and you want to make some stipend on it. Like probably these guys can even give you maybe 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira to ensure the the equipment is being picked up by them. You might not think they are doing it for work, you think they are doing it for survival, but there's somebody sending them out to pick up this equipment just to make sure that they don't end up in the landfill. But there are trace like few part of them don't even have the ethical use. They just want to pick up and let me take the iron out. Aboki doesn't know what they want to like. Sorry to use Aboki. The local pickup contact person or the focal person picking it up from your slum doesn't know the ethical or the environmental part of it. Like if they pick this and go dump it somewhere after extracting their own metals, it's going to affect the environment negatively. They don't even have the knowledge of it. Then most end users and repair stores are not aware of the effect of improper disposals. If you come to Computer Village, especially Otiga Street, I will be precise. I've been there, done some research, and see that even if your laptop is at fault, you just have to pile it up somewhere. Maybe they call one a bookie and they feel like they're just selling it out to those guys, that how much you go pay for everything. They don't care what those guys do with the end product. Some of them just go down to the scrap yard, break it down, take the iron that they need, then the rest of it is being burnt. What happens to what is being burnt? We increase the level of the greenhouse gases that's being emitted into the environment. We have the CO level being rising, methane, mercury itself. Do you know that before this century, like way back in the late 90s, there's this particular TV that we use. It's not the LED, the LED TV. There's this cathode ray tube, we call it CRT. It is being banned now, but most of it are still in place. Like like my mom's, my grandmother's place, we still have it in one of our rooms. That okay, let's connect to it. We still use it for Go TV. But what happens to it? It's not meant to be there because the level of mercury that is inside this equipment is high, and if it ends up in the last landfill or improper hands through burning and breaking it down, might end up causing a disaster. I want us to believe one thing: no matter how little it is, our little impact on the environment counts. Even if you don't have the actual data, I'm telling you from my experience, it really counts. And what is Nesria doing about this? What are the guides for the importers of this? equipment because we don't produce them. All importers must register with the national body, that is NESTRA, the National Environmental and Regulatory Body. Everybody have to register. There's no way you would do without that. Then the federal government only allows the functional electrical electronic equipment. That is the law. I have the law with me, and a few part of it will be shared later in my slide. Thank God you can see my screen. I'm sorry I'm not using my computer for this. I have to use my cell phone because I have been stuck in traffic and I have to make this presentation. Then Nigeria has banned the importation of waste. What do we call waste? If you have the opportunity to go to the Apapa side of the importation side of it, where Grimaldi or every Luanda coming through our ports gets in, we don't have proper inspection of this equipment. Yes, it's in the law that the Nigeria has banned waste, but what are the tests that are being carried out? What makes the importer to bring this equipment down to us? Is it just that they tell them that, okay, this is working, let us sell it to you, and you get it to Africa, you get it to our borders, and we discover that it's not working? No. Some of these importers are greedy. They get these things as charity items. They are like waste, and they feel like when it gets to us, it can be repaired and be reused, because even in the West, it is a means of an end, like a sustainable means, like what we've used in the West. Let us bring it down to Africa where there's less technologies, so that to be like, I will use the term, I'm sorry who this get out, we are being used as a dumping ground because we don't produce this, we don't even couple it. So when it gets to us as like, okay, we call it tokumbo, but most of it it's not even working no more. When it gets to us, we don't have any choice. What is the government doing about it? These are the guys that the NESTRA, the all regulatory body,
Wow.
is doing to make sure that it doesn't get too deep into us. It's a means to sustain their own aspect of sustainability, but Africa is just like paying the price for it. Don't let me hold you down to that discussion. Let's move forward to any waste imported will be sent back to the origin. Is it possible? Most of this is based on cost. Most of the importers who want to pay, like if Nigerian custom now tell you that, oh, we inspected your container, we see that your container is full of waste, it's not what we need here, it's already at the end of life. Even if they do that, are these importers ready to return it back to the origin? No. It's always cheaper to bribe the system. I'm sorry, I'm opening this up. I don't know if you're hearing this. It's always cheaper to okay, we have, let me pay the FOU guys, take this sum, let my goods come in. Let my goods come in, I'll sort a XYZ. Those are what are the issues. Then administrative punitive fee sanction will be imposed on or importers of the waste. Yes, some of them. I'm so opportune to work with an importation company when I get to Lagos. I won't disclose the name of the company, but sometimes when we go for inspection, we see that some of these containers at the entrance of the openings of these 4-feet containers, it's either 4 feet or a 20-feet container. Imagine the volume of the items that will be in it. By the time you open it, at the entrance, you see new items, fresh, we call it personal effects. These are fresh items that get into us, but by the time you get into the middle of the container, it's being stuck with used and waste items, some that are not even usable. You can't even repair them because the importers get them so cheap. You find them on the street. Some of them, we call it out of storage or charity items that they just want to give out to people that they are vulnerable. Why is this
Wow.
getting to us? We need to sensitize our borders.
Mr. DME,
Don't let
thank
me
you very
rush.
much, sir. Thank you very
Good
much,
evening, sir.
sir. We are
Don't let
sorry
me
we have
rush you
to
to the aspect
we have
of
Mr. DME,
that,
can you hear me,
but those
please?
are
Mr.
the major challenges. Then the guy
Mr.
said
DME,
that every carrier of the use electronic equipment shall accompanied with the cargo movement requirement. There is this particular paper that we call CMR by every importers of used equipment, because even in the West, I won't lie to you, they have protocols, they have their way of they have rules guiding exportation. But because most African countries importers, they want to bypass the process, they don't declare all that is inside their containers, and sometimes there's this infiltration, then there's this proof of evaluation and test. Where you get this equipment from, even the whites that want to sell it out to you, they don't test it. They just feel like, okay, there's improvement or advancement in technology, technical know-how. This thing is out of age. I need it's being upgraded. Let me purchase something new. So our people don't even bother to test. There's this sticker. If you see an original tested UK used item, there's this sticker that put the name of the previous user, the date it will expire, and the state at which the equipment is. The original ones to carry those stickers. Majority of what get to us doesn't carry those stickers because we have a system that doesn't even check on them. Then the copy of their importation permit. It's always a black market when it comes to bringing the used items. There's no proper check-ins. And the shipping companies don't even want to stress you because they want to make their money by transporting either your waste or the new or whatever you want to import. Like Rimadi or every other importing company will need to go through all those. If they want to go through, it's because you declared something that they have to inspect. But if your paper carries that you are carrying a tested or evaluated item, they don't have to go through it. So what are the activities in Nigeria that requires permit? The export of transportation of e-waste must be with a valid transboundary permit issued by the Federal Ministry of Environment. Like if you are going to import it, the Federal Ministry of Environment in Abuja, we call it the Green Building. There's this permit you have to have in order to import. Just like Lagos State, you need to get a permit for discharge or every other environmental impacted activities that you want to do. Then importation of used
Mr.
electrical and
Adeyemi,
electronic
Mr. Adeyemi,
equipment,
please, can you hear
no
me,
matter
sir?
what it is, either new, used, or waste. Waste is out of our system, either new or used. You have to get the permit to import it. Sorry about my background. I have to find a place to sit so I will talk to you guys. Then a person who imports, export, or manufactures, or assemble, or distribute, or retail various brand of EE should subscribe to extended product producer responsibility. We call it EPR. Yes, the response to this is quite low, and I will be sincere with you. We are working on getting this law signed. We are working on getting this law signed into a bill in Lagos State precisely because we are like a sister body to Nestria. Do you understand? So it's still on the process of being implemented as a law. Then what are the possible solutions that we have? We are already banning the cathode ray tubes. Or you remember all those our grandpa's TV now? Maybe most of us we just sit down by the screen.
All right,
Sit down
Mr.
by the
Adeyemi, good
screen.
evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, thank you so much for your session. It's been insightful so far. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, but we have a limited time.
Okay.
I understand that you have just 20 minutes and you've exhausted the 20 minutes right now. So
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
you have it since about 7 minutes ago. So
Okay. Sorry
maybe
about
we can actually just hold on. You can hold on. So when it's time for question and answer session, we can
that.
now
Okay.
have you. Yeah, we can have you on the floor at the time. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. That was a really. I was even carried away by the whole new knowledge, and I was totally oblivious of the time. Thank you so
It's all
much.
right.
So very quickly, we are going to move to the next speaker. I understand Oluwatosin is on the call now. Thank you so much. Oluwatosin, if you are here, please, you have I would like to know if she's here. So
Yeah.
Oluwatosin,
Good evening. Good
all
evening.
right. All right. Good evening. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, yes. So Oluwatosin will be speaking with us on the social and economic impact of e-waste. So you have the floor, Tosin. Thank you.
All right, thank
Oluwatosin. Hello, Tosin. Can you hear me? Oh, I think we have some network issues here.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. I think you were muted for a while.
I have to share a slide, so I'm trying to work on that.
Okay. All right. Ayo is going to make you a co-host now, so I think you'd be able to share your slide that way.
What do you say?
I said Ayo is going to make you a co-host, so you'll be able to share your slide then.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, just for the records, Oluwatosin, you have 20